Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us.
Coast Entertainment Network. I'm Crispy Bacon here with a cast of football experts. We got James here. How you doing?
I'm good. How about everyone else?
Doing good. We also got Big B. How you doing?
What's up? Hey, just being able to check in and talk a little football. There's a lot going on this past week with players moving, players signing. Great week of football action. Get ready to kick off.
Yeah, it's going to be a great week, and we also have the Prime Moose. How you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm thinking expert is kind of is a stretch for us. We have it. I think we're the opinionators. Other than that,
there you go.
It was a strong, really weird week. Especially what happened yesterday with Indy. I didn't think that was going to happen at all. Other than that, I'm looking forward to seeing what this week brings us.
I am too. Since you're here, Big B, you had one tough question you wanted to ask?
One tough question. Yep, our one tough question this week. Did the quarterback from USC tarnish his image / draft stock with his recent comments on how he could get more money playing in college than he can on a rookie deal in the NFL, and also by listing 5 teams he would play with? So, Tim, I'll start with you. What do you think?
He can say whatever he wants. He can talk. I remember, what was it? It was Eli Manning saying he would never play for San Diego. Look how that worked out. If he wants to stay another year, go for it. But you're just making yourself look like a fool. And the funny thing is, he selected 6 teams, and 3 of those teams don't need a quarterback, which I think is even funnier. It's let him talk. Eventually, the one thing that's going to happen is his scholarship is going to run out, and eventually he's going to have to come to the NFL if he wants to.
Yeah, I can see that. James, what do you think?
Yeah, I probably shouldn't be wearing this hat right now, but I just thought about that. I just put on whatever, but yeah, no. I think his father kind of ruined things earlier in the year, saying what he did. Like he doesn't want his son going to a horrible situation. We've seen this type of thing with John Elway not wanting to go to Baltimore. Instead, he ended up in Denver. He wanted to be on the West Coast. So different quarterbacks have different preferences, and it usually ends up with their fathers saying something. He can do what he wants, and then I don't think money is an issue because of the NIL deals. So, it's a different time of, different era when it comes to these quarterbacks and players, where they can make whatever money they want and they can do what they want. Not being biased or whatever, I hope he stays with USC another year, because they barely won in 3 overtimes last night. That's why I'm up this early. So he could do what he wants, but yeah, I don't know if the story was, I kept hearing if that was true or not. I don't know if it was true or not about those 5 teams he listed. I just don't know what to believe, honestly. But I think anyone's going to take the opportunity to play in the NFL no matter where they go, but they're also going to maneuver where they want to go, though.
I agree with that. He's coming back on.
Yeah, there we go. I'm sorry, guys. Internet. Gotta love technology.
Big B, what's your thoughts on the...
I mean, like Tim said, and I missed James's comments, but like Tim said, Eli came out and said he wasn't going to play for San Diego. They, went ahead and did what they did. Giants got him. To me, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to do what you do. So a team drafts you, you don't have to sign a multi-year deal with that team. If Arizona drafts you and you don't want to play for them, sign a 1-year deal, move on. But I think he'd be a fool to stay in college, especially if his Harrison's is it Harrison? No, it's Rice's son that he plays with. I think, right?
Yeah, Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he comes out too, I think if the Bears got 1-2, I think the Bears would be smart would be to draft both of them. So if they both come out together, draft them together. But he might have hurt his image a little bit. Talking about the money situation stuff, but we'll see what happens because we know somebody's going to take a chance on him and be like, oh, we can change him, and it's going to be a team that he doesn't want to be drafted to. So
I agree with that. I also think that it kind of hurts the situation, you making those comments and all that. He making that comment. Maybe
yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So, guys, what do you guys think about the trades that and the moves that went happen this weekend? I mean, Tim, you got your running back. The Broncos traded their stud to San Fran. Claypool goes up to Miami, which they don't need another receiver. That move shocked me the most. But Tim, what do you think?
Yeah, the Claypool one shocked me. Actually, take that back. When I sat there and heard that when I looked at my phone yesterday afternoon and it said that Taylor had signed an extension for 3 years for $42 million, I'm like, okay, either they've got a trade in place, they're getting ready to trade him, or he was ready to play. I think he was ready to play this season without the contract extension. He said he wasn't going to do a contract extension during the season, and that kind of threw me for a loop. I'm happy. I'm happy as long as he's happy in Indy. Chase Claypool kind of shocked me too because him going to Miami, I'm like, why put another bullet in the gun if you don't have to? And it blew my mind. And Gregory going to San Francisco, I'm thinking, okay, you're reloading again. You're adding another weapon to the defense in San Francisco. It's crazy to think, but I'm happy, and I've got Cooper Kupp coming off of internet reserve, the injured reserve, so I'm all ready for him for fantasy football. But I'm interested. I'm interested in just seeing Kupp, how he's going to come back, and I'm interested in Taylor, how he's going to get worked into this system right alongside Zach Moss at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I thought Gregory was going to be released. That's the initial word I thought I saw, but I was kind of surprised he was traded.
Yeah, me too.
What do you think, James, of the of the situation?
So, I think next week we'll have Denver have some trade calls come in for their receivers and maybe some of the defensive players looking ahead. But yeah, those moves, Gregory just makes the 49ers a little better. They've been known to it's what the Raiders used to do, is take players that were rejects or didn't fit well on other teams, bring them to an environment where they can thrive. 49ers have kind of done that. They have Colin Farrell, one of my first round picks from like 2018 or 19, and he's over there flourishing with the Niners, and it really sucks to see that. But you mentioned Claypool. It's a low risk, high reward move. It was only like, a 6th round pick trade for Claypool, so it wasn't really a big move there. It's funny because they have chosen Anderson as well. You have Waddle and Hill, and then the other guys you have Anderson and Claypool, 2 guys that are, basically rejects that nobody wants. And then, I was shocked by the Taylor move because I thought that relationship was severed. I really did. And all of a sudden, I get that notification. I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna play. And I honestly thought, okay, he's like Tim said, I thought he was gonna get traded and maybe there was a deal in place finally, and he would never play again for the Colts. But I'm interested to see if he's kind of sluggish today. I maybe a Josh Jacobs situation where he comes out sluggish, but hopefully not sluggish as Josh. But yeah, I'm looking forward to some more moves. Maybe with my Raiders after Monday night's game. Maybe it gets so bad, so next week there will be some moves as well.
Yeah, we'll get to the Raiders later on. There's also a report, not a, well, I guess you could say player movement, but really for next year is that Kyler Murray looks like he's on his way out. Doesn't look like he's going to be the starter again going forward. Josh Dobbs is the guy now. We'll start with James. What do you think of that situation? Like, it looked like originally it was going to be Murray coming back, but Dobbs has been looking pretty good.
Yeah, I'm really happy for Joshua Dobbs. You know, he got his opportunity somewhat in Pittsburgh, but then they went with Kenny Pickett, and it's not a bad thing, but you want to see someone flourish like that, and someone who just wants an opportunity, and he's been running with it. I really enjoy that. He's keeping the Cardinals in games. I think the players want to play for Dobbs or anybody else other from Kyler Murray. I really think that. He's such a cancer, I believe, Kyle Murray, that I think they want to part ways, and that's a lot of money they have to eat, honestly. But they want happiness. They want to start over, literally, and they realize we shouldn't even sign him to that contract. We could have just had him held out and just have a trade partner. Now you can't even trade him. No, I don't think anybody wants him. I don't think he's coming back this year at all. I know he was eligible to come back off the IR, the 4-week IR, but um, nobody would want him. So it's one of those things. He's going to have to back up next year somewhere. He'll be handsomely paid, but yeah, I'm happy for the Colts. I mean, excuse me, yeah, for the Colts, but I'm happy for the Cardinals in that way because, hey, you're going to start over. You're in a really good situation right now. You're playing with house money, and you're just playing the season out, seeing who wants to be there, and then you're seeing what you can build up from the ground up. So, yeah, Kyler Murray won't be there after this season, that's for sure.
Tim?
Yeah, I like what Josh Dobbs is doing. Much like James said, that he's a good quarterback. He got his shot a little bit in Pittsburgh. I saw him well before he was in Pittsburgh because I used to see him every for 3-4 seasons when he was at Tennessee, being a Florida Gator fan. So I got to sit there and see him, and he scared the living hell out of me every time Tennessee played Florida. So I knew the stuff that he had. And it was just the fact is he needed to get the opportunity somewhere. And I think he got it in the Cardinal system. I like it. Just I think Kyler Murray is too built on his own hype. He's in love with his own hype. I think he needs to get knocked down a peg. And I think I think Dobbs starting. I think Dobbs should start the rest of the season. I think this is where Kyler Murray needs to come back down to earth because I don't think he's going to have to eat some humble pie. I really do. I think he's going to have to back up somewhere, or he's going to have to get into good graces to be somebody else's starting quarterback and really learn how to play NFL quarterback at the right level at this point. But I'm so happy for Dobbs and the Cardinals are in just every game they seem to play, and that's a tough, scrappy team. Yeah, I think Dobbs is getting a shot.
I think so too. I just feel bad for the Cardinals in general because they had. I was thinking 3, but I know 2, and that's Rosen and now Murray, first round picks. Although it was really quick for Rosen, he was there 1 year and then out the next year. You kind of had or shown promise with Murray, but it just didn't work out. They gave him chance after chance. That didn't work out. So now they're looking for another quarterback. Doesn't look like it's going to be in the first round per se, or at least the first couple picks as it stands, and right now. But it's early in the season, so it's going to be a fun season to watch. Arizona, they're not bad. They look good in general. They just can't win games. So we'll just see how that. Second half of the Jaguars game's coming up. It's 11-7. Jaguars in the lead. Jaguars kicking off. We'll keep updating that game. Before we get to the picks, on Thursday we had the Bears and Commanders game. Before the game, we had the loss of a great Chicago Bear. Any thoughts on that? Anybody want to start there?
When it came to, it seems like Chicago always has great linebackers. We're talking we Singletary, Urlacher, Khalil Mack. You always thought you knew that, but for all of us old guys, when we thought of Chicago Bears linebackers was always Butkus. He epitomized what a Chicago Bear was. And it seemed like every time you saw him on TV, and then he got on Twitter, and it was like letting George Hallis or Mike Ditka and all become like Twitter buddies, and it was weird, and Butkus goes in there and just. It was like the Iron Sheik of the NFL, the way Butkus would go on and just say stuff on Twitter, and to have that as a loss in Chicago, you kind of figured that would have been a bit of a morale kind of, you got to play better in the name of in Butkus, and it happened. It's how do you win that game? And the Commanders, I have no clue what the heck happened to the Commanders. None.
Right. James?
Yeah. When you think of the Bears, like Tim mentioned, you think of defense, and I also think of Gil Sayers too. Both Sayers and Butkus were kind of joined at the hip there because both never got to experience any, actual playoff winning or anything like that. But they were legends of their team and legends of their time. Butkus struck fear in the hearts of the offensive linemen in front of him. The running backs were trying to avoid him. Wide receivers going over the middle, and the quarterbacks trying to escape Butkus. So he was one to really be fearful of. And then it was great to see him still be a part of the Bears. He would still go to games even at a older age, and I can remember him being on television, being on commercials and movies, I believe. So it hurts because all the people that we grew up researching about and trying to watch film of, get anything about, they're all passing away now, and it's almost like a weekly thing to see, like, oh crap, who else are we gonna lose? And he was just a legend, Chicago Bear legend, NFL legend, Hall of Famer, of course. It's a real bad loss.
It is a bad loss, and I don't think that if you're a Bears fan or not, you're like you said, NFL fan in general. It's a heavy loss, and they're talking about it here on radio that he went when the Bears were playing Dallas. He was here, and they asked him, just not on camera, but just asking him in general, what do you think of the stadium? He's like, I hate it. There's no elements here. He was all about a tradition, playing in the elements. If it's cold, raining, snowing, they didn't have domes back then or retractable stadiums. He was, like a traditional old school player, and he will be missed for his, his time off the field, and it was just. I'm glad the Bears won. It's sad that it had to come to that, but the Bears won, and maybe that's just more to come. So we're gonna head into today's picks. Money games going on, so we're gonna skip that one. Give updates on that one. But I think it's a clean. Well, it was a clean sweep. I think all of us picked Buffalo. You picked Buffalo, James.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was mainly the consensus on uh, those slate of games. That slate of games, or at least that game. Now we got Texans and the Falcons. James, who you pick for that one?
I think for the Thursday game I had Washington, but they didn't really show
Okay.
up. But yeah, Texans Falcons is interesting because Desmond Ritter has to play better. And they got to get back to the running game. They have all those runners, but they're not using them. And then Kyle Pitts has to get used. Just they have to get back to where they're going. They have to get where C.J. Stroud is right now. He's one of the most prolific passers in the league right now. Most completion percentage. He's right up there. It's really good to see a rookie do well, especially how it started off. Remember, he's running for his life against Baltimore in Week 1, and now they're just airing it out. So I'm going with the hot hand. I'm going to go with the Texans. I just believe in them more right now than the Falcons. I also believe the NFC South. It might be one of those things like, remember I think 2010 or 2009 Seattle Seahawks, they won the division with the losing record. I feel like the South is going to have a losing record, but that's going to be the divisional winner.
So you got Texans in that one?
Yeah.
Tim?
Yeah, I've seen some of the Falcons, some of bits and pieces of Falcons games, and they don't impress me as much. I thought with Bijan Robinson it was going to be a bit more different, different than it was. I know he's in the top 10 in rushing, but you look at what the Texans are doing. They shouldn't be doing what they're doing this early. Not with Will Anderson, not with C.J. Stroud. This should have been a couple year project, and to be 2-2 with that roster, it's impressive. I wasn't expecting it. I've got and I know the Falcons are 2.5 at home, but still, you get 3 just being at home. But I've got Houston winning that game. I like the Texans. I think the Texans are an up and coming team.
I think so too. I got Houston too. Big B has Houston winning this game too. And I was looking at the standings because we're going to our next AFC South game. I think entering today's London game, everybody was tied at 2-2. I saw. Yeah, that's a crazy division. Everybody being 2-2, but I think it was like that in the NFC East. I think last year too. So crazy times as we head to Tennessee and Indianapolis. Big B has the Colts. Tim, who do you got?
Yeah, I saw a lot. I saw a lot last week out of this team. We were down 1.23-0 against the Rams. You know, I'm gonna tell you, there's a name I hate right now, and that's the kid out of Los Angeles, Puka. Holy hell! And how our Pro Bowl cornerback left him wide open over the middle in overtime. I literally lost my mind. But the thing is, the offense proved that it can keep up with its defense coming back from 23 down to come back and tie that game. It shows a lot. I think Tennessee's a sinking ship. They're just not getting everything they can out of Henry. I've got the Colts. It's not a homer pick. It's just business at this point.
Man.
Right, I can see that.
Houston. I'm
James?
sorry, Houston. Tennessee last week they fortunately got to play the Browns without Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson basically didn't want to play. I don't know what happened in that situation, but they got back to the running game, did Tennessee, so that was good to see, but they don't really have much of a passing game and all that. And I'm interested with the Colts because I want to see what Taylor does. And then Richardson, he's been really good. You know, he can run, he can throw. It's good to see. So I'm gonna go with the Colts. Maybe they get energized. Maybe the defense has some turnovers. They get to Tannehill. Maybe that'll be the case. So I'm gonna go Indy.
I'm going Indy too, and like I said, Big B's going Indy, but that's going to be his lock.
Ooh.
Colts are his lock, guaranteeing a victory for Indy.
No, I'm glad because I can't do that for the Vikings.
Giants and the Dolphins. I guess you can say this, since there's a London game going on, these two teams kind of kicked off that London series, but they're playing back in the States today. Big B has Miami winning. Tim, who do you got?
Again, we're talking about a team that just basically added another bullet to this, and to me the Giants aren't good. I don't know. I took that step back. I said that they were going to take a step back earlier during our preseason.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary, and this defense is scary too to play against the Giants.
Yeah,
and to be a 13-point dog against the Dolphins, are the Dolphins going to score more than 70 points this week? Are we looking at another Dolphins Broncos game? I don't think so, but I think the Dolphins score 50. I really do. I've got the Dolphins in this game.
All right, James.
I'm going Miami. They're going to score 48 points. This will be my lock. All week long. It started from Monday night display of horribleness with the Giants. Jones getting sacked 11 times. It was just a really, really bad week. And then the Evan Neal, the offensive guard, calling out the fans, and then the radio guy calling him out, and you never want to do that in that market, especially. So it's been hell. It's going to continue. It's going to be humid. It's going to be hot in Miami. They're going to have to wear their dark uniforms. Miami's going to wear their white, and they're going to have a track meet. They're going to run. They're going to have fun. They're going to do well. The defense is going to have some turnovers. It's pretty much hell right now for the Giants. So this is my lock with the Dolphins.
I could see Miami coming out in their, teal uniforms. I could see that happening, but yeah, there's a big advantage with their sideline being in the shade, and the Giants or whoever comes into that stadium and they have to sit in the sun. That's not good. And also, I know it's not a primetime game, but Daniel Jones is 1-11 on primetime. You know who has the second worst primetime record?
Kirk Cousins.
Captain Kirk.
And I think I saw somewhere Dalton also has a worse record. Andy Dalton.
I can see that.
So, Saints and Patriots. James, who you got?
Carr's going to play even though he has a shoulder injury. But it's almost like he's doing the team a disservice by playing, because last week he couldn't get anything going against Tampa Bay. Saints don't look really good right now. They got to get Kamara going with Thomas. They got to get that back going. But if Carr can't get rid of the ball, as I used to know, he's not going to be good. So you have Patriots on the other side with Mac Jones. They don't use Juju Smith-Schuster. The running game is non-existent. Their defense just lost 2 pillars with Christian Gonzalez and Matthew Judon, maybe for the season for both. But it's going to be an ugly game. I guess I'll go with the Patriots. Maybe they make some stops. They did get J.C. Jackson. They traded for him back with the Chargers, and maybe he'll make some plays in an environment he knows. I'm going with the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm not going Patriots. I can't do Patriots. Being a Colts fan, Patriots to me would be like injecting poison into my blood. Um, this game has a tendency of becoming like a baseball score. This is how bad this game could be. This could be a 6-3 game. This could be a 7-3 game. This could be a 7-6 game. I hope nobody's got anybody for fantasy football because this is just going to be terrible unless you've got the defenses. Um, I hope Derek Carr does better than he did last week. I know we all know Derek Carr can throw a football all around the field, but if he plays like he did last week, we're talking about a low scoring game. I've got the Saints. I'd love to see Kamara just run all over the Patriots. But that being said, I still have the Saints.
Yeah, I got the Saints too. And circling back to that Dolphins game, Greg is saying he has Eacham or Him, whatever you want to say it, running over the Giants. They're bad against the run. We'll see how that goes. Anything can happen in a week. But I got the Saints in this one too. Patriots just haven't been looking that good, and I don't know if it's just because there's no Brady or Bill Belichick just lost his touch, but it's not the same Patriots team. But what is the same is the AFC North rivalry of Ravens and the Steelers. Tim, who do you got for that one?
I'd love to see I'd love to see Kenny Pickett play like we all know he can play, but then again, this is an AFC North game where anything can happen. It's still Lamar Jackson. It's still the Baltimore Ravens. It's still the Ravens defense. They're a 4.5 point favorite for a reason. I've got Baltimore.
Yeah, I'll go with Baltimore. I feel
James?
like they have some players coming back. Way. I think someone else coming back for the Ravens, so that's going to help. Lamar's playing really well. He's running really well there. Pittsburgh, they can win it with their defense, but right now they're not doing as well. You saw that against Houston. They can't score on offense right now. Najee Harris just does this behind the line. He never goes forward and through a hole. And then Warren, you're putting a lot on someone that's young like that for a running back. I'm going with Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm going Baltimore too. I think this is gonna be a good game. Hopefully Pickett can have a good game, but I feel like Baltimore is the better team of the two. Some viewers, I think he's the only one that's kind of going off again, off with the group, but it should be a fun game, I think. And that's the last of the afternoon or early afternoon games. We got a few more games to get to before prime time. In the late afternoon window, Bengals and the Cardinals. Big B has the Bengals winning that one. No T. Higgins in that game. Who you guys got? We'll go with James first.
I'm going to go Arizona. I feel like they're a group right now that wants to play and wants to win. Cincinnati's not that group right now. Joe Burrow's struggling. There's talks that he should have just played or not started the season playing and rested that calf injury. And maybe it's going to turn into something worse. Who knows? But right now, I know they have Mixon, but it just seems like Arizona's playing as a team. So I'm going to go with Arizona.
You mean Cincinnati? Oh, Arizona.
Arizona.
Yeah. Tim?
I thought I was going to be the one taking Arizona this week. They're playing. They're either overachieving or they finally know how to play as a team. But they're in every single game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought so many bad things about this team. This is like a team that just fights every down, and it seems like the Bengals are turning aren't as good. And I think it might be the Burrows injury. I think it has a lot to do with that. I've got the Cardinals. I just like what they're doing. I'll take the Cardinals until they stop playing like a team, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I keep going back and forth on this one because in my head I keep thinking that the Bengals are this tough team like we saw, the year they went to the Super Bowl, but at the same time, Burrow hasn't been the same since his injury, and that's the thing with injuries too. When you have them, sometimes it can make you a better, I guess a better player because sometimes they can fully re-heal from that, and then other times you're not the same. So I've been going back and forth on this. Cardinals, they've been shown to be in games even though they've lost them. It's kind of a toss up, but I think I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to make my pick Arizona. Next, you got Eagles and the Rams. Big B has Philly. Tim, who do you got for this one?
The Rams have Cooper Kupp coming back. He's full go from what I'm hearing. I don't think from last I heard that he wasn't going to be on a pitch count, which is a good sign. It's still the Eagles as much as I saw what I saw from the Rams last week. The Rams have a good 1-2 punch at receiver. I still like the Eagles, even though I like Puka and Cup. I still think this is they still have to face the Eagles defense. Yeah, I've got the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going with the Eagles as well. I feel like everything's going to mesh together, but also I feel like the Rams are going to give them a game, through 3 quarters. The crowd will be mostly Eagle fans there in LA, so yeah, I'll go with Philadelphia, but it won't be easy.
Unfortunately, I got the Eagles too. Rams haven't been the same. They're kind of like the Bengals. It seems like that Super Bowl with the Eagles with the Rams and Bengals, both teams haven't really been the same. You got one that won the Super Bowl and one that went to the Super Bowl, but neither one haven't really been the same since that run. But the Eagles are they're undefeated at the moment. First place in the East. I'm hoping the Rams can win, but I got the Eagles. Jets and Broncos. Broncos are Big B's pick. Tim, who do you got?
I'm gonna say the Denver Broncos make Zach Wilson look like the second coming of Ken O'Brien. It's gonna be that defense is terrible, and you gave away Gregory to the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, at this point, they're not going to give up 70 like they did to the Dolphins, but they're going to give up 30. I think they're going to give up 30 to the Jets. So yeah, I've got the Jets in that game.
James?
Yeah, it's gonna be real ugly for the Broncos. As I mentioned, there'll probably be some moves made in the week after here with the Broncos receivers and defensive players. The rest of them that don't want to be there. I'm hoping that Breece Hall has a good game. Remember last year, I think it was week 7 or 8 in Denver, he had that horrible injury in which he was out for the rest of the season. Hopefully he can overcome that and really have a good game. I want to see Dalvin Cook have a good game as well. And then with Garrett Wilson and all the other Packer rejects on the receiving corps, I want to see them do well. And then Zach Wilson, I loved last week because after the loss to Kansas City, he did the opposite of last year, where he took he took the blame for the loss. Last year against the Patriots, he didn't, and this year he kind of showed maturity as a quarterback And I'm hoping that he has a really good game. I'm going to go with the Jets.
Tim? Oh, you're a big pick, yeah. I'm going Denver. I feel like Russell Wilson's a better of the two quarterbacks. Yeah, you don't have, really good defense anymore. Gregory's out. I haven't really heard his name come up, though, uh, even on highlights. But I feel like Wilson's probably the better of the two backs in this game. And we'll see how the altitude is with the Jets. So that's going to be a factor in today's game. And finally, in the late afternoon game, Chiefs and the Vikings. Will the Taylor Swift thing become a distraction still for Kansas City? James?
No, that'll only help them, and it helped the league too because it's reaching an audience no one thought ever could happen. No, this game here, I hope it's a shootout, but I see Kansas City winning at least by 10. I just feel like the Viking defense isn't that good, and they're going to have a tough time corralling Kansas City. So I'm going with the Colts. With the Chiefs. I'm sorry.
It's early, I know.
It's Kansas. It's the Chiefs and the Vikings. I'd like to see them. With the state of the AFC playoff race. Yeah, I'm talking about playoff race in Week 5.
Playoff.
Talk about playoffs in Week 5. I need the Chiefs to lose this game to the Vikings. Being tied for the division lead in the AFC South. I still there's so much into that right now. I hope that the Taylor Swift, Jason Kelsey, or Travis Kelsey thing keeps going on, because at that point he'll keep playing out of his gourd. It's Kansas City. I like Kansas City in this game. I hate to say it about the Vikings, and I need the Chiefs to lose, but it's the Vikings and the Chiefs, and I got the Chiefs.
Yeah, I do too. Big B has the Chiefs too. I'll make it my lock. But it's going to be interesting when and if the fanfare is going to end with Taylor Swift and Kelsey. It'd be funny if the Eagles and Chiefs made a Super Bowl. Who would she pick? Because I think she's an Eagles fan. So that should be interesting. Sunday Night Football, Cowboys and the 49ers. Big B has Dallas. Tim, who do you got?
I think this game is going to be a big test for Brock Purdy. He's playing a defense that plays out of its skull. I think I'm not worried about the San Francisco's defense against Dallas, because I think that'll be fine. I think this has the potential being an NFC Championship playoff, NFC Championship game preview. I want to see what Brock Purdy can do with two good arms against two good arms against a really good defense, because we saw what Purdy did. I think he's trying to make up for the NFC Championship game last year against the Eagles. I've got the 49ers.
Ooh. James?
Yeah, I got the 49ers, but it'll be on the blowout. I feel like Dallas, without Diggs, I think the 49ers are going to run circles around them. Something tells me Cowboys are not going to show up tonight. The Niners are going to have a lot of fun. I think the only fight the Cowboys are going to show are the fans against the fans tonight. You'll see that on social media later on, tomorrow maybe. So, I'm going to go 49ers in a blowout.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have to agree with that. I gotta go 49ers. I want Dallas to win. You think that Dallas could win, but I don't know. In the last 2 games, Dallas hasn't been showing up to those games in their playoff games and lost against San Francisco. And right now you got Brock Purdy, who's undefeated in the regular season. Only blemish is that playoff loss, but other than that, in the regular season, he's been undefeated. Everybody in that San Francisco locker room is behind him. So I got 49ers too. And in the final game of week 5, other teams are on bye weeks. Raiders and the Packers. James, who do you got for that one?
Oh, Green Bay, no doubt. It's going to be a Green Bay home game. It's going to be a lot of green and yellow in the crowd. The cheese will not melt there. It's going to be a really great crowd for Green Bay. They're gonna play better. The Raider defense will make Jordan Love look like what he should be. I feel like they're gonna have a great day on the ground, a great night on the ground. Aaron Jones will find his way back, and then whoever's going to be catching the ball is going to be doing that a lot. Raider offense right now, it's funny with the concussion of Jimmy G. He's off the protocol, but he doesn't look so good. So I don't know if he's going to start or will it be Aiden O'Connell. I'd rather it be O'Connell, honestly. Rather see what the rookie has again. He performed all right against the Chargers last week, but it's that feeling like everything is crumbling and all around the Raiders right now. So I'm gonna go Green Bay, and we'll see how the rest of the season holds up for the Raiders. But there'll probably be some wholesale changes coming.
Tim?
So this is a rematch of Super Bowl II. No, this is for so long that this wouldn't even be a rematch at this point. This would be like people's great grandkids being rematches in the Super Bowl. I'm with James. I think the Packers win this game. I think it's going to be a little closer than James is expecting. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I'm going back. I got to look. Did we pick the Panthers-Lions game?
Mm-mm.
I didn't think so because that's my lock. And I'm going. I swear I didn't say my lock. But that being said, I still take the Packers. I think that's going to be a close game. This is the first time Jordan Love is on primetime, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that
Yeah, 'cause I
Amazon
was
game
looking
is
it up
prime
a minute
time.
ago.
Yeah, but this will be his first Monday night game.
Monday night game, yeah.
Thursday night's considered prime time.
Yeah.
It's Thursday.
I'm gonna get Detroit as well for that game. I think it'd be pretty easy. I think Bryce Love is going to be running for his life.
I've got the Lions in that game too. I think that defense is going to make Bryce Young look. He's going to be a little gun shy. Is Bryce Young starting, or is it going to go? Are they going back to? Are they still with Dalton?
I don't see that game.
Huh? You got this Lions Panthers. It's a 1:00 game.
Huh. I'll go Detroit then.
All right, I got Detroit as my lock.
All right. Any picking, James?
Yeah, Bryce Young is playing, but I'm gonna give it to the Lions.
Those are our game picks. Hopefully we do good in those. But to end the show, two spotlight games. He wants to point out. It's going to be the Kansas City game versus the Vikings. He has the offense for that one. In the Vikings, or Kansas City offense versus the Vikings defense, and then also Dallas and 49ers. Those are his two spotlight games. I think he's going with the Kansas City offense on that one, probably. Yeah. Any final thoughts from either one of you before we head out? I don't think there's too much to cover.
I'll do you one better. I'll do my prime five.
There you go.
So we're at the sub quarter post of the season since we've already played 4 weeks. So why not? Let's go ahead and screw with everybody's mind right now and give the top five. Who have the top 5 picks in the draft for next year? Just to see who we can just blow our minds. And we're going to start off by hurting Brandon's feelings right now.
Oh no.
The number 5 pick right now in the draft would be the Minnesota Vikings, because I don't know why it is due. I think they're basing it off of strength of schedule, but from what I'm seeing, number 4 they've got the Denver Broncos. Believe me, all of this is going to change. I really think this is all going to change because we all see what the schedule looks like, and this is what it's going to end up being. And my number 3, James, I didn't realize you were going to be on today, and now I'm going to break your heart. You're going to get the number 3 pick at 3-1 with the Raiders.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Even after the Bears win, they still get the number 2 pick and the number 1 pick. It's like, it's like the Bears knew they were not going to be that good this year, and they decided to trade away for that number 1 and to the Carolina Panthers to trade that pick just so they could go back to back. How many teams? That'd be something interesting to find out. Is how many teams went back to back in the first round, just in the first round, not throughout the draft. But I know Indy did it once. That's the year that we picked up Entman and Coriat. But it can't happen all that often.
True. Yeah, everything's going to change soon.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. I lost connection for a second. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting draft setup, I think, right? Or entering this week, Bears had 2 number 1 picks, or 2 first-round picks, I should say, 1 and 2.
Yep.
So, they'll get the USC quarterback probably, even though fans want Arizona to have that pick.
But he doesn't want to go to Arizona, does he? From my last I saw, he don't want to play for the Cardinals.
I don't think so. I don't think Chicago's on his list either, but I'm sure Chicago's better than nothing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any injury updates.
Well, Buffalo has lost, I think, Milano, I want to say, in this game today. And then also they had some other injury, too. So they're kind of banged up today.
Milano's huge. Milano's a huge name to lose.
I'm going to make sure that's him, but I think it was.
Yeah, they've lost like several players.
Last week they lost, what's his name? Tre'Davious White. It's just awful because a couple years ago he had a bad injury, and now he has another injury. Teron Johnson had an injury, but that's not him. People are blaming the turf over there in London. But I don't remember anything happening there before. Say Jones is questionable to return. I'm looking through the other defenses. Not Milano, yeah. And it's a knee injury, so it might be a really, really bad one.
Yeah. He doesn't come off the field that much. And
and he was carted off too, and they put a temporary cast on it. So
We talking how many CLs are we talking? UCL, PCL, MCL.
No.
We're, that's
Which
going to be
game?
strange. I just saw that Saquon's going to be out, is inactive again for the third straight game.
Yeah. Why would you play at that point?
I'd be like, man, the season's already washed. Don't even start me in
Just
the
trade
game.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's only been a few years since NFL has been playing at, what is it, Tottenham Stadium?
Yeah.
Because usually
Yeah, it looks
it's
like
only at Wyndham or Wembley.
every other new stadium. You know, it's like everything like the Titans one in their new place that they're gonna have. It looks just like theirs, but I haven't heard any any injuries from the turf. I really haven't.
Even I think during the soccer games that they play in Tottenham, I don't think you hear any injuries of revolving around the grass or the turf. I always thought Tottenham was grass anyway.
I think it is. I think.
Looks like grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe
what
it's
Yeah,
grass
that's
turf.
that.
Grass turf.
Oh, it's the
Oh,
grass
oh.
turf.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
And if I was going note to self, no hybrid turf. But it should be a fun week of football. I think there's one more London game next week. And I think we're off of that until the
So we go to
Germany.
Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Then we
two
go to
games.
Germany. Yeah. And my indie team is going to be in Germany.
That's cool.
Yeah. One in Berlin and one in Munich.
Which one is the Colton?
They're the one in Munich, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wish it was
We
Berlin.
play the Patriots in Munich. That's week. What week is that? That's week 10? Or is it the week
Oh,
before the
that's
bye
true.
week? Yeah, it's week 10. It's week 10 in Munich.
Oh, that's not bad. We get a
Yeah.
couple weeks off of that, so
Yeah, I think we get a bye week the following week. Yeah, we get the bye week after that.
I'm sure Jacksonville will get one too, since they've been there 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's weird. 2 weeks of a team being there.
And then
Maybe
they come to play Indy in Jacksonville.
That should be a fun game, actually.
I think it will be, but we lose to Jacksonville in Jacksonville, so
That won't be fun.
no. I think we have a 6 or 7 game losing streak in Jacksonville. Yeah, it's not pretty.
Some bad
No.
memories, like
The last
21.
And the funny thing is, the last time Jacksonville lost to Indy in Jacksonville, I was at the game. It was Luck was the quarterback that year.
Before he retired unexpectedly.
Yeah, who's the starting quarterback in Jacksonville? I think that
Probably
was
Gabbert.
That was Blake Bortles came in at halftime.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
It was Damon Heward started the game. You were right. Damon Heward started the game, but Blake Bortles came in at halftime.
Who after Luck? Who is
Damon
it?
Heward? I think Heward was.
go ahead.
Was it Heward? No, it wasn't Damon Heward. It was.
Was it Blaine Gabbert or no?
Might have been. It might have been. Yeah, I remember just going to the game going, it was Jacksonville. It was Jacksonville's home opener, too. It was week 3, and it was Jacksonville's home opener. We had just traded for Trent Richardson.
Wow. The guy that couldn't find any holes, even though they were right there.
Oh gosh, you could have. It was weird how big that hole is, and you found a way. The hole is between 1 and 3, and you have to run over to 2. I'm like, no, forget it. You're done.
I've never understood why running backs go through, like, there's no opening, but they go through the middle of the line.
I'm not. I played offensive line, defensive line, and linebacker in high school. I played offensive line and defensive line semi-pro. I can't sit down to a running back and ask why you don't run to the hole, because I'm the one that making your holes, and you can't. I don't have the mentality of a running back. If we're going to talk to anybody, we'll talk to my brother. My brother rushed for 1,000 in high school.
Oh, wow.
And I never understood. He's like, the holes are right there. I don't understand why people don't run through them.
Well, it's like you got the offensive line and the running back. Like, I'm going to go through these people. Like, why?
Exactly.
I never understood that. But with that, any final thoughts before we head out, James?
No, just thank you for having me here, and it's going to be a busy weekend with the MLB playoffs, and then with NFL football. Maybe some primetime games that'll be duds.
True. Jim?
Yeah, James, as always, thanks for coming on. Love having you on. Hopefully you got a nap between the USC game and now.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Other than that, we've got a lot of great shows. Hopefully these games will live up to the hype we hope they have. Other than that, enjoy the weekend, guys.
Yeah, enjoy the weekend, everybody. Enjoy NFL football today. If not, hopefully your team's in it for the playoffs in baseball. A lot of stuff going on this week. You got 4 Bros this week. Between the Ropes covering Fastlane from last night. And a lot of great shows here on Coast to Coast. So with that, enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy the week. And we'll see you guys next week for another morning tailgate. Have a great week, everybody.